سبحان ربي الأعلى. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة ورضوان في الدار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. صلاة قصر صلاة القصر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد كذلك الله ربنا. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي. صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا من له الدنيا والآخرة ارحم من ليس له الدنيا والآخرة بحق محمد وعطرته الطاهرة. الله أكبر. بسم الله وبالله والحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله الله الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ولعن عدوهم. تسبيحات الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها الطويل برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل يا رب على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء الصديقة الطاهرة الشهيدة والمظلومة والمقتولة صلوات الله عليها. والصلاة والسلام على إمامين السيدين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. والصلاة والسلام على 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، علي بن الحسين زين العابدين، ومحمد بن علي الباقر، وجعفر بن محمد الصادق، وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم، وعلي بن موسى الرضا، ومحمد بن علي الجواد، وعلي بن محمد الهادي، والحسن بن علي العسكري الزكي. السلام عليك مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
صلوات. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. مولا یہ صدا دیتے تھے، مولا یہ صدا دیتے تھے، اے شمر ستمگر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. آخر کو سفر ہونا ہے اس دار محن سے، دو باتیں تو کر لینے دے بھائی کو بہن سے. آتی ہے میری سمت میری لادلی خاغر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. تو لاکھ ستمگر ہے مگر کام یہ کر جا، اے شمر میرے سینے سے کچھ دیر اتر جا. مر جائے گی اس حال میں دیکھا جو برادر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. بھائی کی محبت میں وہ بےتاب ہوئی ہے، خیمے سے بہت تیز وہ مقتل کو چلی ہے. سر سے میری بہنا کہ اتر جائے نہ چادر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. دیدار کرے وہ میرا میں بھی اسے دیکھوں، زخمی ہوں مگر آخری تعظیم تو کر لوں. اے شمر بہن ہے یہ میری ماں کے برابر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر. زینب چلی جائے تو ستم چاہے جو دانا، تھک جائے بہن میری خنجر زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر عباس کی خاطر عباس کی خاطر مجھے پیغام یہ دے گی شاید علی اکبر کی کوئی بات کرے گی کچھ دیر تو رونے دے بہن بھائی کو مل کر زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر زینب نکل آئی ہے ذرا روک لے خنجر صلوات
بارہ دیگر نعرے صلوات آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا جاگتی ماں نے کہا میری سکینہ سو جا ہے آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا جو تجھے خوف ہے شاید میں اسے کم کر دوں آجا آنکھوں میں تیرے نادے علی دوں کر دوں دور کیوں بیٹھی ہے میری سکینہ سو جا ہے آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا باپ کے سینے پہ عادت ہے تجھے سونے کی میری گودی تیرے قابل تو نہیں ہے پھر بھی ہے میرے دل کی صدا میری سکینہ سو جا آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا 4 برسوں میں نہ زحمت دی کبھی تو نے مجھے اپنی خدمت کا مجھے آج تو موقع دے دے، ہوگا احسان تیرا میری سکینہ سو جا ہے، آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا۔ قید خانے میں جو آ جائیں گے تیرے بابا، خود اٹھا دوں گی تجھے شانہ ہلا کر تیرا، اچھا کچھ دیر ذرا میری سکینہ سو جا، آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا۔ مجھ سے دیکھا نہیں جاتا ہے تیرا درد جگر، یہ بتاتے ہوئے اچھا تو نہیں لگتا مگر، اب نہ آئیں گے چچا میری سکینہ سو جا، آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا۔ صابروں کا یہ قرینہ تو نہیں ہے بی بی، یہ ہے پردیس مدینہ تو نہیں ہے بی بی، کر کے بس شکر خدا میری سکینہ سو جا ہے، آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا۔ اس طرح سوئی تکلم وہ حزینہ بی بی، ماں اٹھاتی رہی اٹھی نہ سکینہ بی بی، پھر نہ بانوں نے کہا میری سکینہ سو جا ہے، آجا اصغر کی جگہ میری سکینہ سو جا۔ نعرہ صلوات۔
صلوات بر محمد وآل محمد۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
ہے یہی منظور زینب کاتب تقدیر کو ہے یہی منظور زینب کاتب تقدیر کو جب تلک زندہ رہو روتی رہو شبیر کو ہے یہی منظور نام بر نے جب دیا صغرا کا خط شبیر کو پھر گئی آنکھوں میں صورت دیکھ کے تحریر پھر گئی آنکھوں میں صورت دیکھ کے تحریر کو ہے یہی منظور زینب کاتب تقدیر کو بن گیا عنوان آزادی زمانے کے کس قدر عزت ملی ایک پاؤں کی زنجیر کو ہے یہی منظور یا رسول اللہ آ کر دیکھیے صبر یا رسول اللہ آ کر دیکھیے صبر وہ اٹھا کر لا رہے ہیں آپ کی تصویر کو ہے یہی منظور سو گیا دریا پہ جا کر پاسبان کر سو گیا دریا پہ جا کر پاسبان کر چھوڑ کر اپنی جگہ بس زینب دلگیر کو ہے یہی منظور عصر سے بڑھتی گئی زینب کی ذمہ داریاں چل دیے شبیر سب کچھ سونپ کر ہمشیر کو چل دیے شبیر سب کچھ سونپ کر شمشیر کو ہے یہی منظور زینب کاتب تقدیر کو جب تلک زندہ رہو روتی رہو شبیر کو ہے یہی منظور زینب فاتحہ صلوات پر محمد وآل محمد جب محفل یزید میں داخل حرم ہوئے غش آیا ہر قدم پہ وہ ظلم و ستم ہوئے زینب پکاری حادثے ایسے بھی کم ہوئے سر کٹ گیا حسین کا سر ننگے ہم ہوئے سر کٹ گیا حسین کا سر ننگے ہم سر کٹ گیا حسین کا سر ننگے ہم ہوئے کیوں آسماں گر نہیں پڑھتا دہائی ہے زہرا کی بیٹی سامنے حاکم کے آئی ہے زہرا کی بیٹی سامنے حاکم کے آئی ہے موجود انجمن میں صغیر و کبیر ہیں حاکم کے گرد کرسیوں پر سب امیر ہیں خاصان ذوالجلال ذلیل و حقیر ہیں مشکل کشا کے خرد و کلا سب اسیر ہیں کہہ دے کوئی علی سے یہ دار السلام میں زینب کا داخلہ ہوا دربار عام میں زینب کا داخلہ ہوا دربار عام میں اے لوگو کربلا سے میرے بھائی کو بلاؤ اے لوگو میرے گیسوؤں والے جوان کو لاؤ اے لوگو میرا حادثہ عباس کو سناؤ اے لوگو یادگار حسن سے کہو کہ اے لوگو یادگار حسن سے کہو کہ قاسم سے ہائے کچھ نہ کمک اس گھڑی ہوئی یہ بال کھولے کس کی دلہن ہے کھڑی ہوئی یہ بال کھولے جس کی دلہن ہے کھڑی ہوئی بابا کو میرے پوچھو تو کیسا سخی ہے وہ مشکل کشا ہے کل کا خدا کا ولی ہے وہ نانا کو میرے دیکھو تو سب کا نبی ہے وہ بھائی کے صدقے فخر نبی بھائی کے صدقے فخر نبی علی ہے وہ میری خبر اسیری میں لیتا نہیں کوئی کپڑا بھی منہ چھپانے کو دیتا نہیں کوئی کپڑا بھی منہ چھپانے کو دیتا نہیں کوئی حاضر وہاں تھا ایک فرنگی بھی اس گھڑی روک کر کہا یزید سے اس نے کہ اے شقی تیرے معاملے سے لرزتا ہے میرا جی سر ہے طبق میں جس کا یہ مجرم ہے کیا کوئی حاشا جو میں کہوں کہ یہ اہل قصور ہے زلفوں میں بوئے مشک ہے چہرے پر نور زلفیں میں بوئے مشک ہے چہرے پر نور ہے زنجیر پہنے کانپتا ہے یہ جو ناتواں کیا نام اس مریض کا ہے جلد کر بیان یہ ننھی لڑکی جس کے گلے میں ہے ریسماں اس کا تو وہ ہے سن کے ہو کافر بھی مہربان بیووں سے انتقام تو لیتا ہے حیف ہے آزار ننھے بچوں کو دیتا ہے آزار ننھے بچوں کو دیتا ہے حیف ہے مذہب پہ اس کے جنگ ہوئی یا کہ ملک پر کیا منحرف تھا قبلے سے لوٹا جو اس کا گھر کیا تارک الصلاۃ تھا کاٹا جو اس کا سر زینب سے ضبط ہو نہ سکا بولی پیٹ کر حق پر ہوا ہے فرقہ باطل سے پوچھ لے سجدے میں سر کٹا ہے تو قاتل سے پوچھ لے سجدے میں سر کٹا ہے تو قاتل سے پوچھ لے یہ سن کے اور کانپے فرنگی کے دست و پا کہنے لگا یزید سے تو نے نہ کچھ کہا پوچھے جو شاہ روم کروں اس سے عرض کیا یہ کس کا سر ہے نام بتا اور نسب بتا بولا شقی بلند نہ کر شور حسین کو کہہ دیجیو یزید نے مارا حسین کہہ دیجیو یزید نے مارا حسین کہہ دیجیو یزید نے مارا حسین کو اس نے کہا جو کل کا ہے سلطان وہ حسین نانا کو جس کے آیا ہے قرآن وہ حسین جس کے پدر پہ سب پہ ہے احسان وہ حسین ماں جس کی فاطمہ ہے میں قربان وہ ماں جس کی فاطمہ ہے میں قربان وہ حسین جس پر نبی نے اپنے پسر کو فدا کیا خالق نے جس کو بچہ عطا کیا خالق نے جس کو بچہ عطا کیا حاکم نے سر ہلایا کہ ہاں ہاں وہی حسین سر پیٹ کر پکارا فرنگی بشور و شین غارت کرے شتاب تجھے رب مشرقین سر کاٹ کر حسین کا کھویا علی کا چین اے اہل شام کیوں یہی مذہب تمہارا ہے نانا کا کلمہ پڑھ کے نواسے کو مارا نانا کا کلمہ پڑھ کے نواسے کو نانا کا کلمہ پڑھ کے نواسے کو مارا ہے
صلوات پر محمد و آل محمد Assalamu alaikum. Two really quick announcements from the community as requested. Tonight after IEC, after this Majlis, there's a Majlis at Brother Faizan Badr's house in Lockport, Illinois, and that Majlis will be addressed by Moulana Syed Muhammed Rizvi. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m., there'll be a Majlis at Brother Misam Rizvi's house. That'll also be addressed by Moulana Syed Muhammed Rizvi, inshallah. Tonight we continue the second of 4 lectures with Moulana Syed Muhammed Rizvi. This series, inshallah, will continue until Sunday. A couple of really quick announcements. As you know, as we get deeper into the summer, the time for Maghrib is becoming earlier and earlier. So we request all Mu'mineen to start coming a little bit earlier as the time for the Majlis will begin to start getting earlier. So inshallah, as we've been doing the last few days, this series will start at 9 p.m. after Namaz-e-Maghriban. So Namaz-e-Maghriban at 8 p.m. And inshallah, we'll start the Majlis at 9 p.m. 8:20 p.m. for Namaz-e-Maghriban and 9 p.m. for the Majlis. And inshallah, next week we will move that to 8:15. And inshallah, by 8:50 we will start the Majlis. So we request everyone to please be on time so we can give the scholars and all the reciters the respect for when they recite, inshallah. There's also been an uptick of cases of COVID within our community. We request everyone who is or might be feeling sick to take precaution. We do have streaming online, so you may watch the Majlis online. We're trying to keep a good, safe environment here at IEC. Salawat par Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. As I mentioned, tonight we have our second lecture from Moulana Syed Muhammad Rizvi. He comes to us with a background in studies of biomedical sciences and Hoza Ilmiya. Alhamdulillah, I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with Moulana, and I've been thoroughly impressed by his knowledge of not only Islamic tradition and history, but also current affairs. We are very grateful for Moulana and his family for the time that he has taken and his family is giving us for coming all the way here from the UK. So for the safety and well-being of Moulana and his family, please recite aloud salawat. And without further delay, I'd like to request Moulana Syed Muhammad Rizvi to come to the minbar and address the Majlis. Salawat.
الفاتحة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أفضل الموجودات العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد والمحمود الأحمد سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا صاحب الوقار والسكينة المدفون بأرض المدينة أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين آمين يا رب العالمين. فقد قال إمامنا أمير المؤمنين عليه الصلاة والسلام سلوني قبل أن تفقدوني سلوني فإن بين جوانه علما جما سلوني عن طرق السماء فإني أعلم بها من طرق الأرض. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Part 2 of our series of lectures. And Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. We've been discussing this hadith in light of Ilm Imam. This is a statement that only suits Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is a statement that only is befitting to someone like Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And then he continues, he says, Saluni. And if you, لو سألتموني عن آية, if you asked me about each and every ayah of the Holy Quran, I'll inform you whether that ayah is Makki or Madani. He says, if you open the Quran in front of me, and you ask me about each and every ayah of the Holy Quran, I, Ali ibn Abi Talib, know if that ayah Makkiyuha or Madaniyuha. If that ayah is Makki or Madani. If that ayah was revealed in Safar or Hadar. In other words, Was the Holy Prophet in travel, in Safar? Or was he in Hadar? Was he at home when this verse of the Holy Quran was revealed? I know if that verse was revealed up in the mountains or on the flat grounds. I know if that verse was revealed in the house or in the masjid or in the battlefield. Ayah. If you ask me about one ayah, any ayah of the Holy Quran, then Imam says, I know the tanzeel of the verses of the Holy Quran, I know the ta'wil of the verses of the Holy Quran. And I know why Rasulullah says, Ya Ali, I fought for the tafsir of the Holy Quran. You shall fight for the ta'wil of the Holy Quran. Because the real meaning, the batin of the Holy Quran lies with Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. Rasulullah gave us the Quran. He is the giver of the Quran. Ali is the protector of the Holy Quran. Saluni an turuq as-sama. Let me take you to the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Mutaffifin. Keeping in mind that Ali sits here and he says, ask me about there. Let's go to the Quran. Inna kitab al-abrar lafi illiyin. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ كِتَابٌ مَرْقُومٌ يَشْهَدُوهُ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Allah says the book of deeds of the righteous, pay attention to this. The book of deeds of the righteous, of the pious, abrar, righteous, pious, muttaqi. The book of deeds of the righteous is in the illiyin. And what do you know what is illiyin? Now whatever it is, whatever that is, there is someone who can see that book of deeds. Because the Quran says, يَشْهَدُوهُ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Yashhadu from mushahida, from seeing. Now wherever that book of deeds is, only the muqarrabun, the close ones of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can see it. This is Quran right now. I haven't come to hadith yet. Now imagine this book of deeds of the pious, of the righteous is with the illiyin, and the muqarrabun on the earth can see through to illiyin. Whatever is on there, the muqarrabun, or the ones muqarrabun from qurb, from close, from proximity, close to Allah, these close ones can see directly what's written in there. Yashhadu. It's not knowing. Remember what I said last night. Ahlul Bayt is not that Ahlul Bayt know what you do. Ahlul Bayt see what you do. There's a difference. Now the Quran says that they see that. Surah At-Takathur. I'll give you another example. Hold that for a minute. Let's go to another surah. لو كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين. And if you had ilmul yaqeen, the Quran says, if you had ilmul yaqeen, لَتَّرَوْنَ الْجَحِيمِ, you would have seen what is inside the hell. Jahim. In other words, if you had ilmul yaqeen here on earth, you could sit here and you could see what's inside hell and what's inside heaven. لو تعلمون علم اليقين. If only you had ilmul yaqeen, you would see the Jahim. In other words, there were certain people in the dunya who could sit here and they could view what is in the akhirah. Okay, this is important. So now go back. There are the close ones who can see through. In other words, now Jahannam is for Qiyamah. Jahannam is not for today. Jahannam is for Qiyamah. And Jannah is for Qiyamah. But whatever is to come in regards to Jannah and Jahannam, the close ones of Allah can see right through it. And remember, Jannah and Jahannam is at the end of the timeline. And if someone can see right at the end of the timeline, he can see everything that is to come before the end of the timeline. I don't know if this is getting out there or not. If someone can see right to the end, then that means everything that comes before the end is in front of the eyes of the Imam. Everything that is right at the end, everything that comes before it is in front of the eyes of the close ones to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Usul al-Kafi, a man came to the holy Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, now pay attention to this. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, if the Imam, look at the question, if the Imam sits at home in his house and his room doors are closed, Usul Kafi, if he sits in his house and the doors are closed, can he see what is happening in the complete and entire city of Baghdad? Qala na'am. He says, yes. What else? He says, everything min dunil arsh. Not only Baghdad, whatever is under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be witnessed by the Imam. Everything that is under the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is whatever that is, all of the universe, is witnessed directly by the Muqarrab, the one who's close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yashhaduhu al-Muqarrabun. And so Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, while he sits here, can from here see until the end of times. What is to come, what is to happen. Not that he knows, he sees right through it. And that's why they asked him one day, someone approached him and says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Anta qasimun nari wal jannah. You are the divider of heaven and hell. Wa abuka fin nar. And your father is in hell. Wala yadhu billah. Now Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, who sees right to the end, he says, no, you don't know what the reality is. But at least you have admitted, I am qasimun nari wal jannah. At least you accept I am qasimun nari wal jannah. How is it that I am qasimun nari wal jannah and my father is in hell? You should worry about your own father. Don't worry about my dad, worry about your own dad. Qasimun Amir al-Mu'mineen, because he has that vision that Allah has granted him, that he sees right through to the end. If Ali wants, he sits here, he can see inside Jannah and Jahannam. He doesn't have to wait. It's not like when we die, when we enter barzakh, there's certain things that we see. Because when you die, you enter the other dunya, you see the other dunya. You don't see it as long as you're alive. This is not the case for Ali ibn Abi Talib. Otherwise, every person that dies will see the other dunya. The kamal is that Ali is alive and living in this dunya, and yet he can see the other world. Yet he can see the akhirah. He says, no, you don't know. He says, on the day of judgment, after the nur of the Panjatan, the nur that will shine the brightest, will be the nur of my father Abu Talib. It says, after the nur of the Panjatan, of the Ashabul Kisa, of the Holy Five, the nur that will shine the most will be the nur of my father Abu Talib. Inna nurahu min nurina. Allahu Akbar. Imagine that. He says, indeed, the nur of my father Abu Talib is from our nur, the nur of Al-Muhammad. And what is the nur of Al-Muhammad? That nur that Allah created before the creation of Adam. So now put it together. What is Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen saying? Because Imam can see to Qiyamah. He sees the brightly shining nur of Abu Talib. He says the nur of Abu Talib is from our nur, and our nur was before Adam. In other words, the nur of Abu Talib was before Adam. The nur of his father was before the creation of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. The Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. The Imam says, if the iman of each and every person in this dunya from the beginning of time until the end of time was put on one side of the scale, and the iman of Abu Talib was put on the other side of the scale. I haven't come to Imam Ali yet. This is Abu Talib. If the iman of all of khalaiq, all of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is put on one side of the scale, and the iman of Abu Talib is put on the other side, by God, the side of Abu Talib would be heavier in iman. Now if a father is like this, then imagine a son like Amir al-Mu'mineen. The father is that if all of iman is put on one side and the iman of Abu Talib is put on the other side, the iman of Abu Talib is heavier. And yet Ali is such that they say the mu'min, when the mu'min, his book of deeds is put in front of him and his deeds are weighed in front of him, when his bad deeds outweigh his good deeds, Allah will put that muhabba of Ali that he had in his heart in the good side, so that becomes heavier than the bad side. Imagine that. And so Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen says, no, on that day, because Ali sees, the Quran says, there are those who see until the end. There are those who can sit here and they can see. Now you know why Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Saluni an turuqis sama. Ask me about the heavens. It's not that Ali knows, he knows, but not that he just knows. Ali sees and he knows. There's a difference by someone who says, I know, or I have been told. But there's a difference when one sees. You see, for the A'immah Ahlul Bayt, this timeline is in front of them, the past, the present, and the future. For you and I, it's past, present, and future. For Ali, it's all in front of his eyes. This is huge. I know what's happened in the past, at least with me. I know what I'm doing right now, what you're doing right now. I don't know of the future. And so they're separated. But Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen has a vision that he sees through all of it. A man stood up. He says, Saluni qabla an tafkaduni. A man stood up. He says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, oh Mawla, tell me. He says, ask. He says, why is it sometimes the Quran, isn't there a tazad, isn't there ikhtilaf in the Holy Quran? I find that parts of the Quran contradict the other parts. Imam alayhi salam says, no. Parts of the Quran explain other parts of the Holy Quran. They don't conflict, they don't contradict one another. He says, then why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some parts of the Holy Quran, he says, Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghrib. Then he says, Rabbul Mashariki wal Magharib. And then he says, Rabbul Mashriqaini wal Maghribain. You ask the question. He says, is there one east? Is there two easts, or are there many easts? Does the Quran contradict? Rabbul Mashriq wal Maghrib. Rabbul Mashriqain wal Maghribain. Rabbul Masharik wal Magharib. Does the Quran contradict? Imam says no. The Quran explains other parts of the Holy Quran. He says to him, sit down. Now this is Ali, who is not the Quran explaining the Quran al-Samit. Imagine how he explains. He says, no. He says, listen, when Allah says, Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghrib, you have Mashriq and you have Maghrib, done. One east and one west. Then he says, when Quran says, Rabbul Mashriqaini wal Maghribain, the Lord of the two easts and the two wests. He says the two easts and the two wests are what? One is the east of the winter and the other is the east of the summer. Because the sun is not in the same position in the summer as it is in the winter. And these are all scientific facts that are proven today. You can go check it out. You can Google them. That the east is the same, yet the position of the sun in the summer is slightly different to the position in the winter. But yet it rises from the east and it will set in the west. He says, okay. He says, what about Rabbul Mashariki wal Magharib? Many easts and many wests. He says, listen, the sun will come from the east and it will set in the west. But every day when the sun rises and sets, it rises from a new angle of the east and sets in a new angle of the west. I don't know if you're with me or if it's gone over the heads. All of this is true. By the way, if you're into science, you can find all of these things. When the sun rises, it rises from the east, but the angle is slightly different. The position of the sun is different. It will set in the west, but it sets at a new place, rises from a new place, sets in a new place. But east and west, you know who will tell you such details of the solar system, of the sun? It can only be one man. It is the one who is known to have returned the son in his lifetime. Now you know what I mean when I said this line, Saluni, only suits Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. The man who returns the son in his, and you know when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, with the point of his finger, he does the miracle of Raddu Shams. Rasulullah, with the point of his finger, he splits the moon in half, Shaqqul Qamar. And for those who may say, well, how is it possible? How can Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen return the sun? How can Rasulullah split the moon in half? Yet the same people will have no problem accepting that Musa split the sea in half. Musa split the sea in half, no problem, we'll accept that. Rasulullah Musa split the sea in half, no problem. Muhammad split the moon. Ali returns the sun. No, we can't accept that. Remember, if Musa can split the sea, Muhammad can split the moon. And if Muhammad can split the moon, then Ali can split Marhab in half. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa Ya Ali. Another person gets up and says, Ya Ali, how many hair on my head? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, my Habibi Rasulullah had told me about this. And he told me that for each hair that you have, Allah has put a shaitan on you who misguides you. And your son will kill my son in Karbala. He will be one of the killers. One of them stands up, who is hearing this. He stands up and he says, Ya Ali, Ashhadu annaka Rabbul Alameen. When he hears Imam Ali answer these things, he says, Oh Ali, I bear witness that you are God. You see, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, allow me to say this off the record. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen is a person that you can be guided through him and you can be misguided through him. I'm trying to wake you up for those who are sleeping. Allahumma salli. He says, Ashhadu annaka Rabbul Alameen. I bear witness that you are Rabbul Alameen. Imam says, La hawla wa la quwwata. He says, two people will perish in regards to me. Halaka fiyya rajulan, muhibbul ghal, wa mubghidul qal. He says, two people will perish when it comes to me, Ali. The one who does ghulu, who says, I am a God, and the one who does taqseer. He says, sit down. Two people will perish. And so you are tested with Ali ibn Abi Talib, that you're not on this extreme and you're not on that extreme. One extreme is what? That Ali is the Lord, Ali is Rabbul Alameen, Ali is God. They will perish. The other extreme says, no, Ali is just like you and I. What is the difference between me and Ali? He prayed 1,000 rakat a night. I'll pray it as well. That's how they challenge Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Yes, you'll pray it. But Ali got the Zulfiqar from the heavens. Did you get it? Ali ibn Abi Talib got Zulfiqar. Ali ibn Abi Talib is the son-in-law of the Prophet. Are you? Ali's sons are Sayyida Shabab Ahlul Jannah. What are your sons? You can never be Ali ibn Abi Talib. La yuqasu bina ahad. Never compare anyone with Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen or Ahlul Bayt. And so these two sides will perish. Who survives? The Shia. The Ghali will perish. The Muqassir will perish. Who survives? The Shi'atu Amir al-Mu'mineen. Shi'atu Amir al-Mu'mineen. In other words, what is Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen teaching? He says, no, not that extreme and not that extreme. Ali is not a God, and neither is Ali like you and I. Ali is way above that. In fact, Ali is not a god. Pay attention to this. Ali is not a god, but that's all he's not. You want hadith? قولوا فينا ما شئتم ولا تقولوا فينا ربه. Don't call us a god and then say what you want. And by God, you will not do justice to our ma'rifah and our fadail. Ali is not a god, yes, I agree. But that's all he's not, and he's everything else. If there's anyone after the Prophet, that is none other than Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. And so he gets up. Imam Amirul sits him down. Another person gets up. Now listen to what his question is. So this conversation took place in either the Masjid of Kufa, member of Kufa, or member of Basra. Or it's possible it took place in both, because Imam Amirul Mu'mineen spent time in Kufa and he went to Basra when he was going to Jamal. Another man gets up, he says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, hal ra'ayta rabbaka? Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, have you seen your Lord? Have you seen God? Have you seen Allah? What does Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, you all know what Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen says. Ma kuntu a'budu rabban lam ara. He says, Ali does not worship a God that he hasn't seen. He says, if I haven't seen him, then I don't worship him. But he says, I haven't seen him with these eyes, I've seen him with the eyes of the heart. He says, I don't worship a God that I haven't seen. وَكَيْفَ رَأَيْتُهُ? And how did you see him? He says, I saw him with the eyes of the heart. I felt his existence. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, I don't see anything that I see God before it, God after it, God within it. And this is this hadith is enough to give a whole hour's lecture on it. He says, have you seen God? He says, yes. I don't worship if I haven't seen him. And you know, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen's worship was what? To the extent that when there was an arrow in the foot of Ali ibn Abi Talib and they wanted to remove it, they said, wait for Ali to come on the prayer mat. When he prays, then remove it. Because Ali will be so connected with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, he will not feel the pain of that. And so they did it. But then there came out someone who did a ishkal, Fakhrul Razi. He did an ishkal. He said, look, on the one hand, the Shia say that Ali was in prayer, he was in salah, and they pulled out the arrow and Ali didn't feel it. On the other hand, the same Shia say that Ali is in ruku. Someone comes and he says, give me, I am hungry. Ali hears him and he gives him his ring. He says, that doesn't add up. Fakhr Razi, Mufassir of Quran from Ahlul Sunnah. In fact, on the ayat of Wilaya, he's put forward 7 to 8 objections. Let me just deal with one and then I'll inshallah wrap up. He says, how is it that the Shia on one hand they say that Ali was so lost, fana fillah, that when the arrow was being removed, he didn't even feel it. He did not feel it. Yet when the same Ali ibn Abi Talib is in ruku, someone comes and he says, give me, I ask you in the name of God. Ali ibn Abi Talib gives him his ring. وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ Ayatul Wilaya. إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. Al-Jawab. Number one, Ali, there is no doubt, is fana fillah. Because you know the hadith? Just to pause here and take this hadith for a minute. Rasulullah says he was given a gift of 2 camels. He says anyone who prays 2 units of prayer with complete tawajjuh ila Allah, these 2 camels belong to him. No one came forward except Imam Amirul Mu'mineen. Ali prayed 2 units of salah, rakatain. When he finished with the salah, Rasulullah says to him, "O Ali, I would have given you one of them. But in the tashahhud of your salah, your mind wandered off." Rasulullah says what? He is given 2 camels. One is a gift for the one who prays 2 units of prayer with complete ma'rifah, complete tawajjuh ila Allah, from the takbiratul ihram to assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He says, "Ya Ali, in the tashahhud of salah, your fikr, your mind wandered off. Jibreel descends. And he says, Ya Rasulullah, it is the hukum of Allah that you give the camel to Ali ibn Abi Talib." Rasulullah says, "Oh Jibreel, but Ali in tashahhud was thinking." Jibreel says, "What was he thinking about?" Rasulullah says, "Ali was thinking, out of the 2 camels, which one should I take? Out of the 2 camels, which one should I take?" Jibreel says, "Yes, that is true. Ali was thinking that out of the 2 camels, which one will have more meat, so that when I sacrifice it, I can feed more hungry people." And that tawajjuh was not for himself, that tawajjuh was for Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. He said that was not for him, that was not for the dunya, that was for his akhirah, that was for the deen. And when Jibreel says that, it says Rasulullah, he has tears in his eyes. He embraces his brother Ali and he says, "Oh Ali, I was going to give one, but I'll give both of them to you." That tawajjuh. Come back to where I was. Ali is in salah. Abu Dhar says, we were praying salah behind the Prophet. Amirul Mu'mineen was directly behind the Prophet. Someone comes in. He says, "Give me. I am a poor man. Whatever you have, give me something." The hadith says there is no answer. Second time he says, "Give me. I have nothing to eat. Whatever you have." Second time, there is no answer. Then for the 3rd time, when he asked the Muslims, "Oh Muslim, give me whatever you can, whatever small it may be." The hadith says 3rd time there is no answer. Now the hadith says, as he's about to leave, he turns to Allah and he says, "Allahumma ashhad, oh Allah, bear witness, inni sa'altu fi masjid Rasulillah, wa lam yu'tani ahadan shay'a." He says, "Oh Allah, you bear witness, Allahumma, oh Allah." This is where the jawab is. "Oh Allah, you bear witness, I came into the masjid of Rasulullah and I asked the Muslims, وَلَمْ يُعْطِينِ أَحَدٌ شَيْئًا, and no one gave me anything." It is at that moment that Imam Amirul Mu'mineen points at him and he gives him his ring in the ruku. You know why? Because Ali's tawajjuh was ilallah. When this person called without the name of Allah, no one answered. Ali didn't answer. Second time when he called without the name of Allah, Ali didn't answer. Third time when he called without the name of Allah, no one answered. But when he says Allahumma, as soon as he's called the name of Allah, because the tawajjuh of Ali was towards the Ismullah. So what does that mean? That means that Ali ibn Abi Talib's attention was not towards him. Ali's attention was towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he calls the name of Allah, now Ali ibn Abi Talib gives him the zakat in ruku. Not Allah. It was not for himself. He says, "I am, oh Allah, you bear witness." It is as if the message of Allah reached to Amirul Mu'mineen directly. When he says, "Give me," he didn't answer. Second time, "Give me," he didn't answer. But when he says, I make Allah witness. So number one, attention towards yourself. Yeah, that's not good in salah. But attention towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the haqq of salah. That is the haqq of salah. Number two, the attention of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam was always towards Allah. But look at the irony of it. Where do you find this? Praying to Allah is ibadah. And giving zakat is, this is my last point before I come to my side. Praying to Allah is ibadah. Anyone disagree? Giving zakat is ibadah. Yes or no? Ali, by being in salah and giving zakat, at one time, one moment in time, Ali is doing two of the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At one moment in time. Either you pray or either you give zakat. At any one time you do one worship at one moment in time. But Ali is such that at one moment of time he is doing two of the worships of Allah. What is this? Ibadat dar ibadat. Worship within worship. Ibadah of Allah within. In other words, where everyone else's ibadah is at a superficial level, one layer, Ali's ibadah has many layers. Has many of the butun. And so we say, it was the haqq of the hujjah of Allah, that he did something that no one did. And many people tried after that to give their rings. Because it said if Ali gave a ring and a verse was revealed in his honor, as a token of appreciation, as a fazilat of Ali ibn Abi Talib, amongst the faza'il of Ali in the Quran is this ayah of wilayah. So some people said, okay, let us give something in ruku. Perhaps a verse will come for us. But it's only Ali. Ali gives his ring, Allah sends down a verse. Ali does jihad in Uhud, Allah sends down a verse. Ali sleeps in the bed of the Prophet to save the life of the Prophet. Then the night of Hijrah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down a verse. Ali enters the house of Fatima and he comes under the cloak of Fatima. Allah sends down a verse. Ali enters the Maidan of Mubahila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down the verse. Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam is so honored by the Holy Quran that even if someone knocks on his door and asks him for food, you all know, Panjatan, give food, Allah sends down a whole surah in the Holy Quran. Ya Ali. سلوني قبل أن تفقدوني سلوني فإن بين جوانحي علما جمّة. Ask me, for within this is a knowledge, is a sea of knowledge which is bursting to come out. And that's why he would go outside into Wadi Salam. He would go alone into the deserts and he would speak to the wells. And he would say, in here, O Kumail, in here there is an ocean of knowledge. If only I had the right people to take this ilm. There was no one in the ummah to take, except Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. There was no one who was ready to take that ma'rifah from Imam Ali. And so Imam Amirul Mu'mineen left this dunya sad, because they would make fun of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen. They would say, how many hairs in my beard? They would disrespect Imam Ali alayhi salam. How many hair on my head? How many follicles in the beard? And such was the case with not only Ali ibn Abi Talib, such was the case with the Al of Ali ibn Abi Talib. For as long as Ahlul Bayt lived after Rasulullah, as long as Amirul Mu'mineen lived, he faced trials and tribulations. They burnt his house. They attacked the mother of Hassan and Hussein. But I say, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, I give salam to your sabr, O Ali. But let us go towards the sabr of Syed al-Sajjad. Let us go towards Imam Sajjad and Sham. We are in the days of Safar. Ahle Haram have entered the bazaar of Sham. And it was this Sham that the Holy Imam would say, there are certain things that I saw in Sham that I did not see in Karbala. There were certain masaib that befell upon me in Sham that did not befall upon us in Karbala. Ajurakum ala Allah, I don't know what it was, but I know that Imam cried 35 years. 35 years is a long time. If someone cries, you know, Rasulullah, when Hazrat Abu Talib and Hazrat Khadija died, Rasulullah cried 1 year, and he called that year Amul Huzn. Imam Sajjad 35 years. Whenever water would be brought to him, he would look at that water and he would turn towards Karbala and would say, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. And he would say, if only a few drops of this water were given to my father. And whenever food was given, the sight of food would make him cry. The sight of meat would make him cry. When he would see a butcher in Medina who's about to slaughter a sheep, he would look towards Karbala and he would say, oh Father Hussein, this sheep was given water before it was sacrificed, but you were killed hungry and thirsty. Ajarakum ala Allah. Let me give you a few words of Sham. And these are difficult masaib, but they come directly from Imam Sajjad. You know what Imam Sajjad says? He says, I will never forget some of the most extreme masaib that took place upon us. He says, what is it, Mawla? He says, one of the masaib that took place is when we wanted to enter Sham. When we entered the door of Sham, you know what they said? They said, bring forward the heads of the shuhada. Each woman will enter with the head of the shaheed next to her. So the Layla would enter with the head of Ali Akbar. They brought the head of Akbar in front of Layla. They brought the head of Qasim next to Farwa. They brought the head of Abbas next to Kulsum. And so each and every head of the shaheed was taken with either the mother, the wife, or the sister, or the daughter. But when they brought the head of Aba Abdullah, Zainab was sitting in a carriage when she saw the severed head of the son of Fatima. You know what she says? She says, oh, the moan of my mother Fatima. Is this why my mother raised you? And then she hits her head on the wood of the carriage. Blood begins to pour from the face of Zainab. But that was not the most difficult thing. You know what was the most difficult thing? When the head of Imam Hussein was brought in the lap of Zainab was Sakina. Imagine a daughter sees the severed head of her father. Ajrakum ala Allah, and this is how they entered Sham. Then what does Imam Sajjad say? He says, I will never forget when we entered Sham. They said, parade the women of Ahlul Bayt from the bazaar of the Jews and the Christians, from the Yehuda and Nasara. And so the daughters of Ali were brought into that part of the bazaar. And they said, oh Yehuda and Nasara, if you want to avenge Khaybar, if you want to avenge Khandak, if you have hate for Ali, here are the daughters of Ali, here are the daughters of Muhammad. And so they all threw stones upon the Ahl Haram. And Imam Sajjad says, when we entered the bazaar, I will never forget that moment. There were women on top of the rooftops. They would throw down burning coal. There was a burning coal which hit my Ammama, and it was burning my head, but I couldn't do anything because my hands were tied behind my neck. Ajrakum ala Allah, I leave you with this. Then Imam Sajjad says, I will never forget that they dragged us like they dragged slaves, and they would hit us with the backs of the swords and the spears. Ajrukum ala Allah, leave you with this. They say when Imam Sajjad and Ahl Haram were surrounded, you know how difficult it was for Imam Sajjad. When they threw stones on them, they threw burning coal on them, they threw hot water on them. What does Imam Sajjad say? He says, do not hit us. We are the sons of Rasulullah. Do not attack us. These are the daughters of Fatima. These are the same ones for whom Allah revealed Ayatul Mawadda in the Holy Quran. I say, oh Mawla, perhaps these things you can forget, but the most difficult thing was what? When you lifted the janazah of Sakina in the Zindan of Sham. Oh Mawla, how would you forget burying your own sister? Oh Mawla, how would you forget returning to Medina? When Sakina never came back to Medina, the daughter who wanted to come back, you know, on Asr Ashur, when Imam Hussain was going towards Karbala, towards the Maqtal, you know what Sakina says? She says, oh Father, why do you not take us back to Medina? When she came to Sham, she says, oh Syed Sajjad, when will we go to Medina? The daughter who wanted to go to Medina, everyone returned to Medina but Sakina is in Sham. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم حسین.
پیاسے حسین ہائے
حسین پیاسے حسین
ہائے حسین پیاسے حسین
ہائے حسین پیاسے حسین
ہائے حسین پیاسے حسین یا علی
پیاسے حسین
ہائے حسین پیاسے حسین ہائے حسین پیاسے
حسین
جان پیمبر دل بر زہرا
دل بر زہرا
اپنا بھرا گھر تو نے لٹایا
گھر تو نے لٹایا
ابن علی احسان ہے تیرا
احسان ہے تیرا
تو ہے محافظ کعبہ حق کا
حافظ کعبہ حق کا
سجدے میں سر تیرا کٹا
حسین پیاسے حسین آئے حسین پیاسے حسین
ڈھونڈ رہے ہیں رن میں سرور
رن میں سرور
بے چینی سے لاش اکبر
سے لاش اکبر
کھاتے ہیں ہر گام پٹھو کر
ہر گام پٹھو کر
کون سہارا دے گا بڑھ کر
سہارا دے گا بڑھ کر
عالم غربت دشت بلا
حسین پیاسے حسین آئے حسین پیاسے حسین
زینب کی آنکھوں کے اجالے
آنکھوں کے اجالے
کون محمد رن کو سدھارے
محمد رن کو سدھارے
جنگ ہوئی اور خون میں نہائے
اور خون میں نہائے
مقتل سے جب آئے لاشیں
آئے لاشیں
کرتی ہے زینب شکر خدا
حسین پیاسے حسین آئے حسین پیاسے حسین
تھام دام کمر یہ کہتے تھے سرور،
کہتے تھے سرور،
دشت بلا میں شان کٹا کر،
بلا میں شان کٹا کر،
قتل ہوئے عباس دلاور،
عباس دلاور،
دے پرسا مجھ کو میری خواہر،
مجھ کو میری خواہر،
ہو گیا زینب میں تنہا،
پیاسے حسین، ہائے حسین، پیاسے حسین،
بین یہی کرتی تھی سکینہ،
کرتی تھی سکینہ،
چھوڑ گئے کیوں مجھ کو تنہا،
کیوں مجھ کو تنہا،
بڑھتا ہے جنگل کا اندھیرا،
جنگل کا اندھیرا،
آ جاؤ بابا،
آ جاؤ بابا،
دیتی ہوں کب سے تم کو صدا،
حسین، پیاسے حسین، ہائے حسین، پیاسے حسین،
سوتی تھی سینے پر تمہارے،
سینے پر تمہارے،
تم نے میرے ناز اٹھائے،
میرے ناز اٹھائے،
شمر نے مارے مجھ کو تماچے،
مارے مجھ کو تماچے،
خون ٹپکتا ہے کانوں سے،
ہے کانوں سے،
نیند نہیں آتی بابا،
حسین، پیاسے حسین، ہائے حسین، پیاسے حسین،
ہم پہ احسان ہے زینب کا،
ایسا ہے زینب کا،
جس نے دیا مجلس کا سلیقہ،
مجلس کا سلیقہ،
کرتے رہو ماتم پیاسوں کا،
ماتم پیاسوں کا،
دیں گے تجھے عباس سہارا،
یہ عباس سہارا،
بنت پیمبر دے گی دعا،
حسین، پیاسے حسین، ہائے حسین، پیاسے حسین،
کیجے رشید اس غم کی حفاظت،
اس غم کی حفاظت،
اشک ازا ہے قلب کی قوت،
عطا ہے قلب کی قوت،
کرتے رہے ہم دم یہ عبادت، ہر دم یہ
عبادت،
ماتم ہے شبیر کی نصرت،
ہے شبیر کی نصرت،
گونجی فضا میں بس یہ صدا،
حسین، پیاسے حسین، ہائے حسین، پیاسے حسین،
یا حسین،
السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیک یا نبی اللہ، السلام علیک یا حبیب اللہ، السلام علیک یا امیر المومنین علی ابن ابی طالب، السلام علیک یا فاطمة الزہراء الصدیقة الطاہرہ الشہیدة والمظلومة والمقتولة صلوات اللہ علیہا، الصلاة والسلام على امامنا الحسن المجتبى المقتول بسم الجفا، وعلى أبي عبد الله الحسين الشهيد بكربلا، وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، العلي بن الحسين زين العابدين، ومحمد بن علي الباقر، وجعفر بن محمد الصادق، وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم، وعلي بن موسى رضا، ومحمد بن علي الجواد، وعلي بن محمد الهادي، والحسن بن علي العسكري الزكي. السلام عليك مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على جزاك الله.